Have you ever experienced a moment so strange, so out of the ordinary, that it made you pause and wonder? You may have brushed it off, thinking it was merely coincidence, but what if it wasn't? What if this event was a direct sign from God, a spiritual nudge trying to draw your attention? God's voice often isn't loud or dramatic. Instead, He speaks through gentle, subtle signs that require us to be open and spiritually aware. Life's demands can make us oblivious to these whispers, causing us to miss out on essential guidance. Yet these rare, unexpected moments hold deep significance. They aren't just anomalies. They could be the very ways God is trying to warn us, guide us, or reveal something critical to our journey. This video is designed to open your eyes to the most obscure and unusual signs God uses to communicate with us, especially in times of spiritual crossroads. From physical sensations to recurring symbols, let's explore how the divine reaches out in mysterious ways. Sign 1. Electrical disturbances. A warning from the divine. One of the most mysterious ways God might be trying to communicate with us is through electrical disturbances. Picture this. You're sitting alone, lost in thought, and suddenly the lights flicker. Or perhaps you're typing on your laptop, and out of nowhere the device begins to malfunction, despite being in perfect condition minutes before. While it's easy to chalk this up to faulty electronics or poor wiring, what if it's something more? What if this is a spiritual intervention? Electricity is a form of energy, and so is the divine presence. Throughout history, energy has often been linked to spiritual realms, whether through stories of miraculous events or sacred experiences. Today, our world is powered by energy, and it's possible that God can harness this energy to send subtle warnings or guidance. When lights flicker or electronics act strangely for no discernible reason, it could be a signal that we need to pause, reflect, and reassess our choices. Perhaps you're on the brink of making a decision that could have significant consequences. Or maybe you're overlooking something crucial in your life. The next time you experience unexplainable electrical disturbances, don't just call the electrician. Take a moment to quiet your mind and think about what's happening in your life. It could be that the divine is trying to get your attention. Sign 2. The power of recurring dreams with uncommon symbols. Dreams have always been one of the most powerful ways in which God communicates. But not every dream holds a deep meaning, and not every dream symbol is an omen. However, when you begin to notice recurring dreams that feature strange or uncommon symbols, it's time to take notice. Imagine dreaming about an ancient relic, something you've never seen before or have no connection to. You wake up, curious but unsure what it means, only to have the same dream again a few nights later. This isn't just random. Symbols like these can carry significant spiritual weight. God might be trying to deliver a message through your subconscious, bypassing the distractions of your waking mind. Ancient symbols, unfamiliar landscapes, or repetitive motifs could all be signals. The key is not to dismiss these dreams, but rather to reflect on their meaning. Keeping a dream journal, as well as taking time to meditate and pray, can help you uncover the hidden messages these symbols carry. When God sends us these recurring dreams, it's often a call to pay attention to something that's just below the surface of our awareness. Sign 3. The whisper of unexplainable sounds. Have you ever heard a sound that seemed to come out of nowhere? A faint voice, your name being called, or the distant toll of a bell when there's no one around to make the sound. These auditory experiences can be unsettling, but they might be much more than mere illusions. Unexplainable sounds could be a divine message meant to pull you out of your routine and alert you to something important. In the stillness of our moments alone, God might choose to communicate through sound, particularly when we're ignoring other signs. Sound has a unique ability to capture our attention, whether it's through the sudden noise of a bell or the faint whisper of a voice. These moments might be prompting us to tune into our spiritual selves more closely, to listen not just with our ears, but with our hearts. When you hear such unexplainable sounds, reflect on what's happening in your life. Could it be a call to take a different direction, to listen to that inner voice you've been neglecting? Don't dismiss these auditory signs. They are often a subtle but clear warning that something important is just out on the horizon. Sign 4. Rare physical sensations as spiritual warnings. Our bodies can often respond to the spiritual energy around us in ways that we might not expect. Have you ever felt an unexpected chill, a sudden sense of warmth, or even a tingling sensation that you couldn't explain? These sensations could be more than just physical reactions. They could be spiritual warnings. When you suddenly feel a chill or a shiver, even in a warm room, it could be that the spiritual atmosphere around you has shifted. These sensations are subtle but meaningful. If you feel an odd tingling in your hands or feet, it might symbolize that you're not grounded or connected to your spiritual path. Likewise, feelings of heaviness in your chest or shoulders could be indicators that you are carrying burdens that need to be released, whether emotional or spiritual. These sensations may seem minor, but when they happen repeatedly or in conjunction with significant life events, they can be warnings. It's vital to pay attention to your body's responses and interpret them through a spiritual lens. When your body reacts in these ways, take time to center yourself, meditate, and pray for understanding. Sign 5. Repeated animal encounters as spiritual messages. Animals have long been regarded as spiritual messengers in various cultures and faith traditions. But it's not just about seeing a bird in your yard or a butterfly on your walk. Sometimes, God uses rare or repeated encounters with animals to send a specific message or warning. If you keep seeing the same type of animal over and over again, especially in unusual settings or at odd times, it might be time to pay attention. For example, repeatedly seeing a black cat could symbolize a warning about something hidden or unknown. On the other hand, encountering a deer might be urging you to remain gentle in a situation where you're tempted to act with aggression. Each animal holds its own spiritual meaning. It's important to research the symbolism behind each one and reflect on what God might be trying to tell you through these encounters. Maybe an animal's appearance is a nudge to remain vigilant or to embrace a different perspective in a challenging situation. Mooi karmasje bij zijn mentor. Inexplicable delays and obstacles. Sometimes when things just don't seem to go right, when you face delay after delay, or you encounter strange, unexplainable obstacles in your path, it might be more than just bad luck. These interruptions can be God's way of steering you away from danger or preventing you from walking down the wrong path. For example, if you miss your flight, only to learn later that something terrible happened on that plane, it might feel like a stroke of luck. But on a deeper level, it's God's protection in action. If you find that every plan you make hits a wall and nothing seems to be going smoothly, it could be that you're being guided away from a situation that isn't meant for you. Don't be quick to feel frustrated by these setbacks. Instead, pause and ask God for clarity. The delays might be His way of telling you that the timing isn't right, or that the direction you're heading in isn't aligned with His plans for you. Sign 7. Sudden, overwhelming emotions. Have you ever been hit with a wave of emotion that feels out of place? Maybe you're sitting in a meeting, walking down the street, or having a quiet moment at home, and out of nowhere, you're overwhelmed by a strong feeling, whether it's sadness, fear, or joy. These sudden emotional shifts can sometimes be spiritual warnings. God often uses our emotions to communicate with us when we're not paying attention to the signs around us. If you suddenly feel an inexplicable sense of dread or anxiety, it could be a warning to stay cautious. Alternatively, an unexpected surge of joy or peace might signal that you're on the right path or that a breakthrough is near. Whenever these emotions arise, don't dismiss them. Take a moment to acknowledge the feeling and pray for understanding. Ask God if there's something He wants you to notice in that moment. Often, the emotion is connected to a specific event or decision in your life, and it can guide you toward wisdom and clarity. Sign 8. Being drawn to specific numbers. Numbers often carry deep spiritual meanings. If you keep seeing the same numbers over and over again, whether on clocks, license plates, or in phone numbers, it's worth paying attention. Numbers can be a direct form of communication from God, especially when they appear repeatedly in your life. The number 3 has long been associated with the Trinity in Christian belief, symbolizing unity and divine guidance. The number 7 often represents completion or perfection, a sign that something significant is coming to a close or is about to be fulfilled. On the other hand, seeing 1111 frequently might indicate a moment of awakening or enlightenment, urging you to become more spiritually attuned. Whenever these numbers appear, reflect on what's happening in your life at that moment. Numbers, like dreams, are symbolic and can carry messages from God that we need to pay attention to. Sign 9. A sudden shift in your environment. Have you ever walked into a room and felt a change in the atmosphere? Maybe you were perfectly fine one minute, but the moment you entered the space, you felt an overwhelming sense of tension or unease. These environmental shifts can often be spiritual warnings, guiding you to stay cautious or to remain aware of hidden dangers. Pay attention to these moments. If you feel a sudden heaviness in a particular place or notice a shift in how you feel when interacting with certain people, it could be a sign that you need to protect your energy or avoid a particular situation. God uses the energy of our surroundings to communicate with us, and these shifts are important to notice. If you feel prompted to leave a space or withdraw from certain environment over time, trust that feeling. It could be God's way of keeping you safe from harm. Sign 10. Sudden loss of interest in long-held passions. One of the most subtle ways God communicates with us is by shifting our passions and desires. If you suddenly lose interest in something that once brought you joy, it might be a divine signal urging you to reevaluate the path you're on. For example, you may have loved your job or hobby, but suddenly it no longer excites you. This shift may initially feel confusing, but it's often God's way of telling you that this chapter is ending and He has something new in store for you. Reflect on what is draining your energy and passion. Perhaps it's time to step into a new purpose that aligns more closely with your spiritual growth. Sign 11. Repeated roadblocks in a certain area of your life. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try to move forward in a specific area, whether it's a relationship, career, or personal goal, roadblocks keep appearing. These roadblocks aren't just random, they are often divine interventions, signaling that this may not be the right direction for you. Consider a situation where every job interview ends without an offer, or a relationship faces constant turmoil despite your best efforts. It could be that God is preventing you from moving forward because He sees the bigger picture and knows that the current path is not in your best interest. When you encounter persistent obstacles, it's important to ask yourself, is this God's way of redirecting me? Sign 12. Unplanned encounters with people who offer guidance. Have you ever met someone who, out of the blue, offers the exact advice or wisdom you need at that moment? These seemingly random encounters are anything but coincidental. Sometimes God places certain people in our lives to deliver messages or guidance that we wouldn't have found on our own. These encounters may happen with strangers, acquaintances, or people you've lost touch with. The key is to recognize when someone enters your life with a timely piece of advice or insight. When these encounters happen, it's crucial to remain open and listen carefully, as the guidance they provide may hold the answer to a spiritual or life dilemma you've been facing. Seeing patterns in nature. Nature has long been considered a medium through which God communicates, and certain patterns in the natural world can serve as spiritual signs. If you repeatedly see certain natural elements like falling leaves, blooming flowers, or even weather patterns, they could be part of God's subtle warnings or messages. For instance, if you notice birds flying in a specific formation every time you're contemplating a decision, or you're frequently surrounded by thunderstorms when feeling confused, these patterns might indicate God's presence and guidance. Each natural occurrence can hold a deeper meaning, reminding you to stay present and reflect on the connection between your surroundings and your spiritual journey. Sign 14. Feelings of extreme fatigue or restlessness. Without a physical cause, another significant way God warns us is through our physical and mental states. If you're constantly tired or restless despite adequate rest, it could be a spiritual sign that something is off balance in your life. This kind of fatigue is not related to physical exhaustion, but stems from spiritual misalignment. God may be alerting you that you're taking on too much, or that you're drifting away from your true purpose. Take this as an opportunity to pause and assess where you're expending energy. Are you chasing worldly success at the expense of your spiritual health? Realigning with God's purpose may ease this sense of weariness. Terkerstan, waarin tridauper, mijn vargen timans. Strange coincidences or synchronicities. Synchronicities, or meaningful coincidences, are one of the most fascinating ways that God can catch your attention. When seemingly random events align perfectly, they are often a sign that something significant is happening in your spiritual life. For example, if you keep seeing the same book, phrase, or number sequence everywhere you go, it's not just a random occurrence. These signs are a form of divine communication, prompting you to explore the deeper meaning behind them. Synchronicities can reveal hidden connections between the events in your life, helping you understand God's plan for you. How to tune in to God's warnings. Stay present in the moment. Spiritual signs often go unnoticed because we are too distracted by daily life. Practicing mindfulness and staying present allows you to become more aware of the subtle messages that God is sending. Develop a consistent prayer practice. Regular prayer and meditation help you build a stronger connection with God, making it easier to recognize divine signs. By opening your heart to guidance, you invite clarity into your spiritual journey. Reflect on your dreams. As discussed, dreams are a powerful medium through which God communicates. Keeping a dream journal can help you track recurring themes, symbols, or messages that appear while you sleep. Listen to your intuition. God often communicates through your inner voice, that gut feeling you get when something feels right or wrong. Trusting your intuition and discerning whether it aligns with God's Word can guide you through difficult decisions. Pay attention to repetition. When something appears in your life repeatedly, whether it's a number, animal, or event, it's likely not a coincidence. Be open to these patterns and seek spiritual insight as to what they might mean. How to discern God's signs in a busy world. In a fast-paced, modern world, it's easy to overlook God's signs, especially when they come in subtle or mysterious forms. But by slowing down and paying attention, we can begin to discern when God is warning us, guiding us, or protecting us from unseen danger. When you experience any of these signs, whether it's through dreams, bodily sensations, or unexpected encounters, take a moment to reflect, pray, and seek understanding. The more spiritually attuned you become, the more clearly you'll recognize God's voice and the paths He is directing you to follow. Learning to interpret these signs is a journey, one that deepens your faith and brings you closer to your higher purpose.